Hello, everyone. Today, I want to talk about a feeling many people experience at some point in their lives. The feeling of being lost. Not physically lost, but emotionally and mentally lost. The feeling that you are moving forward in life, but you are not sure where you are going. Many people experience this quietly. From the outside, everything may appear normal. Work continues. Life continues. Responsibilities are handled. Days move forward one after another. But inside the mind, a quiet question appears. Where is my life going? Sometimes this question appears suddenly. Sometimes it grows slowly over time. You wake up one day and realize something feels different. The path you are walking no longer feels clear. The direction that once seemed certain now feels uncertain. This feeling can appear during many stages of life. Some people feel it in their 20s, when the world suddenly feels much larger than expected. There are many possibilities, many choices, but also many uncertainties. Others feel it later in life, when routines become stable but something inside feels incomplete. Life continues moving forward, yet the sense of direction becomes blurry. The strange part about feeling lost is that it does not always happen during difficult times. Sometimes it appears when life seems relatively stable. There may be no major crisis, no dramatic problem, but something still feels missing. The days pass, but they do not feel deeply meaningful. Many people quietly ask themselves questions they rarely speak out loud. Am I doing the right thing? Is this really the life I want? What am I actually working toward? These questions can feel uncomfortable because they do not always have simple answers. In school, life often feels structured. There is a clear path. Study, graduate, move to the next stage. But adult life is different. The structure becomes less obvious. There is no single correct path. People begin creating their own direction, and this freedom can feel both exciting and confusing at the same time. Too many possibilities can sometimes feel overwhelming. The mind begins comparing different choices, different futures, different versions of life. And slowly uncertainty grows. Another reason people feel lost is comparison. When we look around, it often appears as if others know exactly where they are going. Someone is building a career. Someone is starting a business. Someone is achieving impressive goals. From the outside, their lives appear clear and purposeful. But comparison hides an important truth. Most people are figuring things out as they go. Many people are uncertain about their direction. They simply continue moving forward step by step. Life is rarely as clear as it appears from the outside. Yet the feeling of being lost can still feel heavy. Because humans naturally want direction. We want to feel that our actions are leading somewhere meaningful. Without that sense of direction, even normal days can begin to feel uncertain. But feeling lost is not always a sign that something is wrong. Sometimes it is simply a sign that the mind is searching for something deeper, something meaningful. And once we begin to understand that, the story becomes much more interesting. To understand why people sometimes feel lost in life, we need to look at how modern life has changed the way we think about direction. In the past, life paths were often more predictable. People grew up in a certain place. They followed familiar traditions. They worked in similar fields as their families or communities. Life had fewer choices, but those fewer choices often created a clearer sense of direction. Today, the world looks very different. People have more freedom than ever before. More careers, more lifestyles, more possibilities, At first, this freedom feels exciting. The world feels open. Anything seems possible. But with freedom also comes uncertainty. When there are too many paths, choosing one can feel difficult. Every decision begins to carry weight. If you choose one direction, you leave many other directions behind. The mind begins imagining alternative futures. What if I chose something else? What if another path would have been better? These questions slowly create doubt. Another powerful influence comes from the expectations society quietly places on people. From a young age, many people hear certain ideas about success: a stable career, financial security, recognition from others, achievement that can be easily measured. These expectations create a picture of what a successful life should look like. But not everyone feels naturally connected to that picture. Some people follow those expectations for years. They study hard. They work hard. They move forward step by step. Yet at some point, a quiet realization appears. The path they followed may not fully reflect who they truly are. The job may provide stability. The routine may feel familiar, but something deeper feels uncertain. Another reason people feel lost is the speed of modern life. Information moves quickly. Trends change quickly. New ideas appear every day. People see countless examples of different lifestyles. Entrepreneurs, travelers, artists, creators, digital nomads. Every path looks interesting from the outside. But seeing so many possibilities can make it harder to choose one direction. The mind begins comparing. One path seems exciting. Another seems secure. Another seems meaningful. But choosing between them becomes complicated. Another subtle reason people feel lost is the gap between external success and internal fulfillment. Sometimes people achieve goals they once believed would bring happiness. A promotion, financial stability, recognition from others. But after reaching those milestones, they may still feel uncertain. Because success does not always answer deeper questions about purpose. Achievement may solve practical problems, but purpose answers emotional ones. Another quiet influence is comparison. In earlier times, people mostly compared themselves with those around them, neighbors, friends, colleagues. But today, comparison can happen on a global scale. Through social media, people see the highlights of thousands of lives. Someone launching a successful company, someone traveling across the world, someone achieving remarkable things at a young age. These images create powerful impressions. The mind begins asking difficult questions. Am I behind? Should I be doing something bigger? Why does everyone else seem to know what they are doing? But this comparison hides something important. Most people share only the successful moments of their lives. The moments of uncertainty rarely appear online. The doubts, the mistakes, the confusion about direction. These parts remain invisible, yet they exist in almost every life. Another reason people feel lost is that direction often appears only after experience. Many people imagine that purpose should appear clearly from the beginning, as if life contains a single correct path waiting to be discovered. But reality is often more complex. Direction often emerges slowly, through exploration, through mistakes, through unexpected opportunities. Many people discover meaningful paths only after trying several different directions first. But when someone is standing in the middle of uncertainty, this process can feel uncomfortable. The mind wants clarity immediately. It wants reassurance that the current path is correct. Without that reassurance, doubt appears, and doubt can make the future feel unclear. Yet there is another way to understand this feeling. Feeling lost may not mean that life has no direction. Sometimes it simply means that the next chapter has not yet become visible. And recognizing this possibility changes the way we interpret uncertainty. At this point, another important question appears. If feeling lost is such a common experience, how should we respond to it? Many people believe that feeling lost means they have made a mistake. They believe it means they chose the wrong path, or that they are falling behind others. But this interpretation is not always accurate. Sometimes feeling lost simply means that life is changing. The path that once felt clear may no longer fit the person you are becoming. And when growth happens, old directions sometimes lose their meaning. This moment can feel uncomfortable because uncertainty rarely feels pleasant. The mind prefers clarity. It prefers knowing exactly where things are going. But growth often happens in unclear moments. Moments where the next step is not perfectly visible. Instead of searching for immediate certainty, it may be more helpful to focus on curiosity. Curiosity allows movement even when the final destination is unknown. Rather than asking, "What is my entire life supposed to be?" a smaller question may be more helpful. What interests me right now? What feels meaningful today? These small questions are easier to answer, and surprisingly, they often lead to important discoveries. Another helpful idea is understanding that direction is often created through action. Many people wait for clarity before they begin moving. They believe they must first discover their purpose. Only then can they take action. But life often works in the opposite way. Clarity frequently appears after movement begins. Trying new things, learning new skills, meeting different people. Each experience reveals something about what feels meaningful and what does not. Over time, these experiences begin forming patterns. Interests become clearer. Values become stronger. Direction slowly appears. Another important shift is learning to release the pressure of having everything figured out. Modern culture often celebrates people who seem certain about their direction from a young age, but this image is incomplete. Many meaningful lives develop slowly over time. Writers often discover their voice after years of exploration. Entrepreneurs often try several different ideas before finding success. Artists often spend years experimenting before their work becomes clear. Uncertainty is often part of the creative process of building a life. Another helpful perspective is remembering that life rarely follows a straight path. People change. Interests change. Circumstances change. The direction that felt meaningful 10 years ago may look different today. And that is not failure. It is growth. Allowing direction to evolve creates space for new possibilities. Another powerful response to feeling lost is reconnecting with personal values. Values act like a compass. They do not always show the exact path, but they help guide decisions. For example, someone who values learning may feel energized by exploring new ideas. Someone who values helping others may feel fulfilled by supporting people around them. Someone who values creativity may feel alive while building or expressing something new. Values provide orientation even when the future is uncertain. Another important step is practicing patience with ourselves. Life is long, yet people often expect themselves to have clear answers very quickly. But discovering meaningful direction is often a gradual process. It unfolds through experience, through reflection, through moments of trial and error. Allowing time for this process creates space for deeper understanding. Another helpful realization appears when people stop comparing their timelines with others. Every life unfolds at a different pace. Some people discover direction early. Others discover it later. Both paths are equally valid. What matters most is not how quickly someone finds their direction, but whether the direction feels authentic to them. When people release the pressure of comparison, the mind becomes calmer. Decisions become clearer, and curiosity returns. Another quiet change happens when people begin focusing on the present instead of worrying about the entire future. The future can feel overwhelming when we try to imagine it all at once. But the present moment is manageable. A single step, a single decision, a single day. Life gradually takes shape through these small steps repeated over time. And often, when people look back years later, they realize something surprising. The path that once felt uncertain eventually formed a meaningful direction. Not because everything was planned perfectly, but because they continued moving forward with curiosity and honesty. So if you ever find yourself feeling lost in life, remember that this feeling is not unusual. Many thoughtful people experience this moment. Sometimes it is simply the mind asking deeper questions. Questions about meaning, about direction, about the life you truly want to build. And those questions are not signs of failure. They are signs of reflection. Sometimes the feeling of being lost is actually the beginning of discovering something more meaningful. A new perspective, a new direction, a new understanding of what truly matters to you. Thank you for listening today. If you have ever felt uncertain about your direction, remember that clarity often grows slowly through exploration and patience. Sometimes the most meaningful paths appear only after moments of uncertainty. And that journey of discovery is part of what makes life deeply human. See you in the next story.